In the headlines, federal government closes borders with Niger Republic, says decision in country's interest. Troops repel armed bandits' attacks, rescue abducted victims, recover cattle in Sokoto, Katsina State. Federal government implements no work, no pay policy against striking resident doctors. And on the foreign scene, suspected rebels kill 3 soldiers in Indian-administered Kashmir. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. The federal government on Friday ordered the immediate closure of all land borders with the Niger Republic over the current political instability in the latter. The policy, according to the acting Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adeni Adewale, is in the best interest of both countries. Adewale, who was at Jibia border Katsina State to monitor the level of compliance, explained that the federal government has directed stakeholders in the border management to ensure total compliance. He said any meaningful trade in an atmosphere of insecurity and instability cannot flourish. That is why the ECOWAS, through the authority of heads of states, had taken the decision to suspend and close all land borders with the Republic of Niger. According to him, the service has deployed officers and men attached to the Joint Operations Team in the form of the border drill to implement the policy across all porous borders. President Bola Tinubu on Friday wrote to the Nigerian Senate of the coup in Niger Republic and the resolutions of the Economic Committee of West African States to return the democratically elected government to power. Senate President Godswill Akpabio read President Tinubu's letter during plenary on Friday. In the letter, President Tinubu also sought the backing of the legislature on the cutting off of electricity to the country, closure and monitoring of all land borders with Niger Republic, and reactivating of the border drilling. The president noted that following the unfortunate political situation in Niger Republic, culminating in the overthrow of its president, ECOWAS, under his leadership, condemned the coup in its entirety and resolved to seek the return of the democratically elected government. ECOWAS also called for prevention of the operation of commercial and special flights into and from Niger Republic.
As chair of ECOWAS, Nigeria has the obligation to lead in the implementation of the directives outlined in the communique, and as such, steps have been taken to give effect to the resolution therein. Accordingly, the distinguished Senate is invited to note the following and the following actions expected of ministries, extra-ministerial departments and agencies, including military and paramilitary agencies. These actions include 1. Closure and monitoring of all land borders with Niger Republic and reactivation of the border drill exercise.
Meanwhile, some residents in Argungu local government area of Kebbi State are calling on the ECOWAS to rethink its decision to deploy the use of force in restoring democratic governance in Niger. The residents say ECOWAS military intervention could result in tensions between Nigeria and Niger. They call on President Tinubu to focus on diplomatic approach and domestic challenges bothering Nigerians.
We Nigerians is like we are in temperamental condition. So I don't blame what the ECOWAS had made decision concerning this issue of Niger. Niger is a republic. And if we now look at both of us, Nigerian and our neighbors, all of us have a right to do what they want. But due to the condition of democracy, soldier people are not be able so that they will coup the president of Nigeria and still they will detain him.
This decision they want to take, honestly, there will be serious war because those other people that collected the other governments from what is it called? What is his name, sir? Is it Bazoum? So if ECOWAS should come and rescue or collect back the other government, so I don't know what will happen to the citizens of Niger.
Troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Haderendaji have foiled terrorist attacks and left many of the armed bandits with gunshot wounds in Isa local government area of Sokoto State. Troops of Team 8 of Sector 3, Operation Haderendaji, deployed at Sabon Birni in Sokoto State, conducted clearance operations, discovered and destroyed armed bandits' hideouts at Kusabani Forest, Tafkingao, Alumdawa, Ngwer Mailele, and Malamawa villages in Sokoto State. Items recovered from the armed bandits' hideouts are 3 motorcycles, 3 AK-47 magazines, and ammunition. Others include varieties of pairs of both military and foreign camouflage uniforms, including a police uniform and a radio. In another related development, the troops of Sector 2 in Katsina State rescued the 4 persons who were captured from their farmlands by armed bandits along Unguwamadugu of Dandume local government area of Katsina State. The victims were abandoned by their captors and fled when the troops, in conjunction with vigilantes, mobilized to the farmlands where the kidnappings occurred. All rescued victims were successfully handed over to their families, while the recovered cattle were handed over to their owners. Still on security, bandits have killed a villager and also abducted 5 females and 2 males at Ungwar Gajere community in the Kutemeshi ward of Bundangwari local government area of Kaduna State. The victims were attacked while working on their farms on August 2nd, 2023. Member representing Kakangi constituency in the State House of Assembly, Yahaya Musa, said the bandits also carted away animals in other neighboring communities. According to him, the situation is worrisome as he consoled with the family of the victim killed. He mentioned regular Gwandu where animals were rustled, same at Damari village and another village. Another resident named Isa Haruna expressed that the villagers frequently face attacks from bandits, saying the killings are becoming a daily affair and calling for help from the authorities concerned. As of the time of filing this report, neither the state government nor the police authority had provided any comments on what could be. The police public relations officer of Kaduna State Command, Muhammad Jalige, did not also respond to phone calls. Katsina State Governor Dikko Rada has banned illegal mining activities in the state. Activities of illegal miners in Nigeria is seen as one of the factors responsible for the devastating insecurity ravaging some northern states. Abdullahi Ahmadi completes the report.
It is in line with this, Governor Dikko Umaru Rada visited Sabaru mining site in Chiranchi local government area, where he directed a stop on all mining activities everywhere in Katsina State henceforth. Illegal mining portends danger to the lives and property of people, especially in Katsina State, which has been battling with the monster for almost a decade. The state has constituted a committee to be headed by the deputy governor with a view to identifying all mining sites.
We wouldn't just allow people to come explore the state and leave, but we have to do a kind of thorough investigation and make sure that state gets revenue out of it, because these are state resources. Even if the federal government is giving a mining license to a company, but the state also has to give them authorization to use their lands.
The committee is also expected to compile the list of solid minerals deposits and their locations in the state and recommend the best ways of exploration as well as how it could be beneficial to the residents. This action is seen by many residents as a bold step towards checking the ravaging insecurity that is gradually swallowing the state. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Federal Ministry of Health has commenced a no-work, no-pay policy against members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors who are on a nationwide indefinite strike. It was contained in a letter dated 1st August 2023 and signed by the Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Andrew Noah, and addressed to Chief Medical Directors and Medical Directors of Federal Tertiary Hospitals. The letter directed the Chief Medical Directors and Medical Directors to maintain an attendance register of all residents willing to work and furnish the Ministry of such names on a monthly basis. The letter said various conciliatory meetings by the Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, with government stakeholders, Secretary to the Government of the Federation and National Assembly has proved abortive in getting NARD to call off their indefinite strike action. NARD had embarked on an indefinite strike on July 26th following the failure of the federal government to meet its demands. In the same vein, the resident doctors' strike across the country is affecting healthcare services of many residents seeking medical attention in hospitals in Maiduguri. Residents say the ongoing strike is making life difficult since they cannot raise money to attend private hospitals with rising inflation in the country. Beatrice Kuruti has more.
It's more than a week since the resident doctors went on strike over the demand for pay rise following the withdrawal of fuel subsidy. The strike action is affecting healthcare delivery services in some hospitals in Maiduguri as residents are having difficulty to access to a medical services in most public hospitals. Some patients complained that they have waited for hours and there were no doctors available to attend to them.
We came here since 10 minutes before 6 o'clock, but we didn't see a doctor up to now. I go and complain to them. They said they should contact the consultant, but up to now, maybe they have contacted them, but they didn't arrive up to now. Private hospital is expensive now. Since now we are in subsidy regime now, even the transport is something else.
Yau na kai sati ɗaya ba ni da lafiya. Kuɗin da zan zo asibiti ma ba ni da shi. A yanzu ma wallahi wani ne ya taimake ni ya kama min hanya na zo.
It's been 1 week I've been sick because I don't have money to come to the hospital. It was someone that gave me the money to come to the hospital. Honestly, things are very hard for me.
The consultants are trying their best, honestly, because the number of files that have been given to a consultant, it's too hectic, but
they called on the government to resolve its disputes with the striking doctors. We are calling on the government to quickly settle the resident doctors so that they can come and attend to us, please.
I need government to intervene about this matter, especially for doctors. You know, this if other association are doing strike, doctors they did not supposed to do strike because without health one cannot be this thing.
The federal government had severally argued that with money saved from fuel subsidy payment, healthcare, infrastructure, education and agriculture, among others, will get better funding. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, we take a look at waste recycling as money spinner. Stay with us.
Sounds like you're disappointed with the current lot.
We are outside me and you, regardless, we could have done better.
That you don't have to sacrifice your conviction. We cannot settle for what is bad.
I sacked a governor because of misappropriating 300,000 naira.
The clamor by the SSC was a unitary form of government. This doesn't go well with Savannah. So when we said we wanted self-government for Nigerian entities, so you count me out.
What you call goal, aims and directives. But the issue of joining politics simply because you want to be given job or to be given contract.
Removing the assumptions, the foundations of their theories, and at the end of it, each and every one of them seems surprised.
I was posted to Guachuku. My job was to go from community to community, educating the people how to improve themselves. Government will come to help you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update, a recap of our stories. We told you that federal government closes borders with Niger Republic, says decision in country's interest. We also told you that troops repel armed bandits' attacks, rescue abducted victims, recover cattle in Sokoto, Katsina states. Moving to more news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised to remove all the obstacles militating against stable electricity supply in the country. The president spoke on Friday at the groundbreaking ceremony of the new 350 megawatt Gwagwalada Independent Thermal Power Plant Phase 1. He said his administration will bring solutions to the multifarious challenges across the electricity power sector value chain, which will significantly relieve long-standing problems of suppressed demand and improve the steadiness of peak supply for Nigerians. Kende Amodo reports.
The Gwagwalada 350 megawatt Phase 1 project is part of an incremental 3,600 megawatt cumulative power project that is based on market-driven designs along the Abuja, Kaduna and Kano gas pipeline corridors. It is one of the arrowheads for the president's plan to address power challenges and improve gas utilization to shore up national energy supply to meet growing domestic demands. In that vision is the use of other low-carbon energy options like solar, hydro, wind, thermal and biofuels as part of a larger mix for both on-grid and off-grid power systems.
As it has come to be known, it's a joint venture project between General Electric, GE, China Machinery and Engineering Corporation, CMEC, and Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, to construct a 350 megawatts gas-fired power plant right here in Abuja.
The president also intends to diversify fuel options through the expansion of Nigeria's CNG infrastructure, which will accelerate the adoption of a cheaper and cleaner alternative fuel for buses, cars, and keke napep nationwide.
The groundbreaking is highly significant to the nation, and it marks the first bold step in this administration's concerted effort to establish a strong and varied energy sector that will drive the economy. Energy, I always say, is the most important discovery for humanity in the last 1,000 years.
Group Executive Officer of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, shares the president's vision, which he says will also entail leveraging on the nation's endowment of gas resources to power the nation's industrial growth and stimulate job creation.
As a commercial enterprise, Your Excellency, NNPC sees these projects as an opportunity to monetize our abundant natural gas resources by expanding access to energy to support economic growth, industrialization, and job creation across the country.
The NNPC Limited has already completed other power projects to enhance energy security, including the 50-megawatt Maiduguri power plant, the 900-megawatt power plant in Kaduna, and a 1,300-megawatt power plant in Kano. From the Federal Capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
A group of young Nigerians are collecting rubber materials for recycling to clean up the environment while making profit from the business. The recyclables include rubber bottles, jerry cans, chairs, and other rubber materials. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail meets the scavengers in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. His report.
This is one of the largest rubber collation centers in the Northeast. Hundreds of thousands of rubber items are being gathered and processed for recycling on a daily basis. These workers say the job is beyond making profit, describing it as a venture that gives back to the society. This is community service. This waste could have blocked waterways. We are glad that we are helping the society and the government to sanitize the environment. A lot of these waste materials have been transported. Despite discrimination from some members of the public, the scavengers remain determined in their job to put food on the table. I can't quantify the blessings of the work. I got married, bought a ride, and built a house with the proceeds. But outsiders take us like thieves or dirty people. These rubber materials are being transported to different Nigerian cities where companies recycle the materials for different purposes. Textile materials and house interlock are created from the recycled rubber bottles. And a lot of things are created from the waste. The scavengers who depend on this endeavor to survive believe that there is dignity in labor and urge Nigerian youth to be self-reliant. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News.
On the foreign scene, police say 3 soldiers were killed in Indian-administered Kashmir during a clash with suspected rebels as the disputed region marks the 4th anniversary of New Delhi imposing direct rule. An army patrol looking for armed rebels in the forest of Halan in the southern Kashmir Valley clashed with the militants late Friday night, leaving the trio wounded in the exchange of fire. Police say a search operation is underway to track the rebels. Clashes between armed rebels and government forces have dropped significantly since August 2019, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government ended the restive Muslim-majority region's limited autonomy. The government says the move was meant to bring peace and development to the embattled region. But nearly 900 people, including 144 members of Indian security forces, have died in the 4 years since the change. And finally, in sports, rising from a consultative meeting with the Nigeria Premier League Football Board and the Football Club Owners Association of Nigeria have agreed to kickstart the 2023-2024 season on August 26, as recommended by the NPFL body. In a unanimous decision reached by all 20 clubs and presented to the NPFL, led by its chairman, Benga Elegbeleye, the clubs also jettisoned the much-talked-about abridged league while opting for a full season of 38 straight matches to determine the league champion and Nigeria's representatives in the CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup, respectively. Meanwhile, the draw for the 2023-2024 league season will be conducted during the NPFL Board's annual general meeting, billed to hold on August 17 in Abuja. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.